What's good, y'all? You are locked in, set in the West. This is Wolfgang. Wolfgang Amadeus. What's up? Um, I may change that. I kind of why that. What's up, y'all? If y'all see me in here, let me know. Okay, that's weird. I gotta change the damn thing. I guess this is fine for now, though. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. What up, y'all? What's good? What is up? What's up? A whole lot going on outside of what they've been putting out there. What's up? Let me say hi to everybody. Yvonne, Jaguar Wright, Jennifer, Samantha. What's up? Who else is in the building? Who else in the house? Who else is in the building? That's it. That's all. That's it. All we saying that's all. Alexis Brown. What's up? Yellow is a warning. Yeah, we're good. I changed this. I was trying to. I can't play with this. I gotta get my lighting situation together. That's what I gotta do because it doesn't work right. James told you Bud was gonna win last night. Yeah, and they hurried up and took that thing off YouTube. I ain't had it up but like 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Notification party, y'all. I'm glad you say the notification didn't come yesterday. That's weird. But glad the notifications came through today. And I say in about 2 hours, we're gonna get on over to Auntie Leah's. I'm not gonna be here too long, maybe an hour or something. Yeah, it was a good fight. I didn't see Samantha. I didn't see everything. I was trying to catch up with the homie. I know he was watching it, and then I said, all right, I'm gonna just catch it. You know, um, you still listening from? I'm still listening from work friends. If I'm quiet, okay, it's all good. I'm Jennifer. I'm about to get in to some court cases. We're gonna have what they call a paperwork party, right? Wack 100, aka Red Lobster Cheddar Cheese Biscuit Face, as the hood affectionately calls him. And I'm not here to tear down Wack 100. I know some stuff about Wack, and like the homie man had a shootout with the fool when he was 14. Wack was probably like 17. I think my homie was 14. Had a shootout with the like a straight shootout with him. So Wack ain't no punk. I ain't saying Wack. I ain't clowning Wack. It ain't even like that. Plus he was a games manager. I went to high school with games. Shout out to all them Compton High, all that. But I kind of just want to get into something about Wack just in general because of the whole Adam 16 connection. Yeah, Alvarez said Bud Crawford uh, is stronger than Mayweather. Ooh, that's okay. That's interesting. We'll see how this goes. Like, yeah, like, did y'all hear? And they said Mayweather is fighting Tyson. Mayweather's fighting Tyson. We're gonna see how all this play out. All right. Now look, y'all. A lot of people talk about Wack 100. Don't get caught with your pants down. Shout out to Spider Loki. That song is funny as all hell. Wack 100 though has been called so many things. Wack 100 has been called so many things, and like I said, the hood affectionately calls him Cheddar Cheese Biscuit Face, Red Lobster Cheddar Cheese Biscuit Face. Because I mean, he has the texture. It's let me leave him alone. But no, he's been called like an informant. He's been called a snitch. He's been called gay. Somebody said that no, not somebody. One of his former lovers who, you know, I don't know how true it is, but she said, he I don't even want to say what she said. Like, I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. But Wack 100 is an interesting figure. I'll just say that. He's interesting. He has ties to Cash Money Records. His real name is Cash. And the reason why his real name is Cash, according to Suge Knight said that he was a trick baby. I said, dang, Suge just disrespectful, very disrespectful when it comes to this Wack 100. I mean, Suge just been going in on everybody in jail. I'll just say that. But what I have here in front of me, dang, you said he got a yeast infection on his face? Bro, that was funny as hell. Did you become a subscriber just to say that? That made my day. That was funny. Wow. Yeah, they call him Three Fingers Whack too, James. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that from Clubhouse, yo. James, I'm not finna repeat it. I'm not gonna repeat it. TMZ going down, yeah. Well, we talk about the yeah. What y'all know about TMZ? Um, but no. Look, Wack 100 was named. Apparently, this wasn't just the first source who said Wack 100 was a confidential informant in some case that happened years prior. So Wack 100 essentially is suing WorldStar for they really haven't even explained what he's being sued for. But there was a new case that just hit last week. It said Cash M. Jones, professionally known as Wack 100, versus Media Lab AI Inc. So I guess Media Lab AI Inc. is the owner. The owner is WorldStar Hip Hop. So Wack 100, he has a defamation claim. He's basically saying that a video, a documentary titled Wack 100 Exposed for Being an Alleged Federal Informant. It was published on WorldStar Hip Hop and it was on a YouTube channel. And it was accusing Wack 100 for being a confidential informant. So his attorney basically submits the declaration um, of a motion to what is it? Support of an anti-slap motion to strike, seeking dismissal from the defamation lawsuit. So WorldStar's attorneys is saying you don't even have a case, and we're gonna get into it just a little bit. I just basically just want to point out some of the issues when it comes to this case with Wack 100 versus WorldStar. WorldStar of all people, WorldStar Hip Hop. So there was a post January 27th of last year on WorldStar Hip Hop's YouTube channel. It contains several statements suggesting that Wack 100 was a federal informant, and he was caught on wiretap, conspiring to commit the M word, and he referred it to as confidential source number 2. He was referred to CS2. WorldStar's attorneys, they attach transcripts of the video and timestamps of specific times and specific statements. And it confirms that the statements appear in the video while another statement didn't appear at all. So keep that in mind. On February 5th, 2024, Wack 100 responded in a no jumpers clip from a YouTube interview, acknowledging his status as a public figure, discussing the video. He admitted letting the video circulate to gain visibility. And he was saying he's a public figure. He said, let it get millions of views. The more views it has, it means the more damage is done. So WorldStar basically filed an answer on August 30th of last year, 2024, denying all allegations and asserting their defense. And they argued that nearly identical accusations have already circulated in different videos. So the post from another video that happened in November 2023 that WorldStar was not the originator of the claims. And they have a whole bunch of statements, answers, transcripts. They got the social blade stats from No Jumper. And, you know, basically Wack100 is saying that he's a public figure and these are defamatory statements, but they've already been published in 2023 in November. So that weakens his case. And because Wack100 himself acknowledged and amplified the controversy, it may be harder for them to prove what damages. So WorldStar looks like they're throwing that anti-slap statute to throw out these charges. Look, not only has a lot of people has come out and said that Wack100 is working with them folks. If you look at Adam 22 to me looks like he them folks. So what Wack100 is doing what now? I'm kind of confused for him to sue for defamation when he even promoted or even kind of like gave it light. Say what, I got the names, all sorts of people in Texas. Bernice, you got to hit us up. You definitely got to hit us up. Yeah, in fact, I got to catch up with the homegirl who made some stuff. We could talk about that. Maybe Jag will come up and talk about it. Some stuff that's going on in Texas. But yeah, everybody's suing everybody. I guess that's just the name of the game. Everybody's sue happy. Everybody's sue happy until, you know, you really have to pay the consequences. I think a lot of times people are just suing people just to put their names out there. Yeah, it's ridiculous just how many lawsuits are out there just to be throwing them out there. This whole thing with Wack, though, I didn't really want to go too much on it. I just was like, this is crazy. I ran down the lawsuit, and it really wasn't nothing really like salacious, but it's just funny how Wack name is just always attached to some, you know, this guy, and I'll say the guy, Big U. Now, Big U was saying that Wack was setting them up some time ago. If y'all remember, Big U is now incarcerated and he's locked up. And he basically, him and Wack were cool. At one point in time, Wack and he had beef, and then I guess they made amends. I think Wack even had an issue with Vlad, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about as well, because when Adam 22 was sitting down with Vlad, he was making some, like, they were low-key talking to each other, like, you know, kind of like, in my opinion, who to trust, who not to trust, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry, I'm over here. So yeah. So long story short, though, look. Wack100 ain't to be trusted. I'll just say it like that. You can sue me for calling you cheddar cheese biscuit face. You cannot be a street dude, a self-proclaimed street dude, and just on the internet doing all this crazy stuff. That's why a lot of these kids are confused nowadays. They want to be criminals, like I talked about yesterday, the Hoover RICO. I didn't really get too in depth in that Hoover RICO situation, but I talked a little bit about how Yeah, his name is Red Lobster Cheddar Cheese Biscuit Face. That's his name. That's what the hood call him. That's his hood name. His hood name is L um um I can't I can't even say this joke without laughing. Um his hood name is RLCCB, Red Lobster Cheddar Cheese Biscuit. Uh yeah, the what I was talking about yesterday, and I didn't even really get too in depth. I was kind of talking about the Hoover situation with the Hoover RICO, and I can kind of continue a little bit about that from what I was talking about yesterday. So the guy 100 and a bunch of these people who are just online saying all kind of stuff, and it's incriminating. I'll say it like that. It's very incriminating. What will make you really think that no one's going to use it against you? If you are CS or CI or whatever they call it, confidential informant, I mean, trust me, it's going to be found out. And I think that's what's going on right now. The mask is coming off on a lot of these fake gangsters online. I'll just say it like that. The kids are confused, and these criminals who are thinking they're criminals, they're about as dumb as a bag of rocks, about as smart as about as sharp as a bowling ball, because they will commit crimes online on their Instagram, putting up money, talking about they pimps, talking about this, that, and all that. They do. They're building up their own case. All if I was a investigator, all I got to do is hit up an Instagram. Oh, who you are? Boo boo boo. Get you. Don't think that just because you are online that you're not going to catch any type of ramifications for what it is that you did or what you've done. Because so they have a database. The reason why I know my very own sister involved. Um, yeah, you gotta hit us up via email. I'm telling you, just hit us up because there's all types of we already know. We already know. But these criminals nowadays put everything that they do online, which is not the smartest thing to do. You don't tell everybody everything. You got people who stalk people online, and there's some stalkers here. I know it's only a few people here, but there's some stalkers here. Um, you guys are going to get figured out. Just know that. But people stalk people online, and they do all types of egregious things to people online, and they think they can't get away. They're going to get away from it, and they're not. They're not going to get away with whatever it is that they do online. So what you do in the real life is catching up with what you do online. So don't be surprised when you start really seeing Adam throw Wack up under the bus. Don't be surprised when you see Adams throw Wack under the bus, because this is just the first step of his humiliation ritual, I would say. Um, when it does come out that he could have potentially been an informant, then what is he going to say? That's really the question that I have. What is it that he's going to say? What up, Jack? What's up? What up?
I plead the fifth. I plead the
He
fifth.
gonna
That's what he
he
gonna
gonna
say.
drink a fifth. He gonna drink a fifth and plead the fifth. I really didn't even really want to talk about this. I just said let me just go online just for the hell of it to kind of touch up on it just a little bit, because it ties into what we were talking about yesterday, and I didn't get to finish talking about what it was yesterday about the Hoover RICO situation, where you got a criminal gang in LA that is all tied to a RICO with human traffic to the king and actual exploit, all that. Minors are involved, etc. And the evidence that they got is real Instagram and Cash App. Because remember, this Diddy situation, what did he say? What did the judge say? Oh, the workers are now victims. So you're not going to get away with getting skirting out from this case by saying, oh well, the people I hired. No, they're victims. And with the Hoover RICO, all the girls that were involved, they're victims, and now they have a track record of money. If a girl accepted money via Cash App, and it can be proven at that time, because there's a MAC address, there's data, there's all types of information that they can get, and it's like, oh yeah, they had you in this hotel, and you accepted this money, and you were this pimp here, and you got there's a lot there's a lot to unpack when it really comes down to um, the RICO situation and the digital, you know what I'm saying, footprint that they're going to use. So I say all that to say, real gangsters are not online giving it up. That's really all I got to say. Real gangsters is not online talking about their war stories and all. I told you my boy had a shootout with Wack, and he wanted to take it to the online. I was like, dude, leave it alone. Just leave it be. And Wack acknowledged it. Wack acknowledged, like, yeah, they had a shootout. It was a long time ago, though, right? They were not adults yet. And I was like, I don't think there's a reason. There's no purpose for that story to really be out there like that. It's not going to uplift the community, if you know what I'm saying,
Well, I mean, I think the whole purpose of that story, in my opinion, is just to let people know that they bout it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Like, I've noticed that that seems to be the deal with a lot of things and a lot of people online these days. People want you to give them a salacious story, or people want to give a salacious story to say, hey, this is what I'm about, so you won't check this person, or you won't check that person, you know what I mean, or so this person won't get caught out there, or so they can miss it. Like, I knew people growing up, and people would always say it all the time. The truth is most people, they don't want to come into an aggressive situation with anyone, so the more aggressive you play, the greater a deterrence it is.
Mm,
If people knew how many of these, like, really, 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 really big dudes who seem like they could just take down the world and do all of this, most of them have never even had a fight. Most of them have never even gone through any physical aggression, because people just assume.
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the same thing online. The bigger the bravado, the bigger the, yeah, 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 because this and this and this, and I was busting at this, and I was doing this, and we was gang banging over here, and I did this, and I robbed this person, and I powed this person, and it's really all to create a persona, to create like an invisible or imaginary respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. The tie-in with this whole, online persona and real cases that are out there. Now, we were talking about the situation about the young girl yesterday, Nova, but I forgot to really tie in the whole thing with the Hoovers and their involvement, because it's in that same area where she may have been, suspectedly trafficked, uh, trafficked. You know what I'm saying? The word.
yeah.
So you got a lot of these dudes are
Can we
online.
come up with a word for that?
I don't know. I don't even really like talking about it. It's kind of, we'll have to figure out a word, a cold
Well, no,
word.
I'm just saying, just so that we can not have to use
Yeah,
other people's words.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
should we
Let me
call it?
see.
Should we call it apple cart?
Let me see. Let me see. No, 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 no. Let me see. Um,
Maybe we can call it being Tesla'd.
How about vehicled? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
that can work. Well, I was saying teleported before.
yeah,
You
you
know,
said teleported. Okay, teleported. It works. I think teleporting works. Um, yeah, it's funny you said that, and it something just clicked. I was about to mention something else, because oh, that's what it was. Because I wanted to walk this situation, this story into this topic. Different
Flo,
strokes.
I don't even think you can say that term without somebody taking it and turning it into, a reportable offense. Because you got
Hmm.
to remember all of these things that we're saying, even though some people get to say it and their videos stay monetized, for whatever reason, we have a bunch of weirdos watching ours and just coming up with all kinds of weirdo excuses to report whatever's
Yeah.
happening in our chat, whatever we're saying in our videos. So, yeah, I don't even think we can say, that green
Hmm.
illumination without them
No.
turning it into something.
Right. Yeah. They'll demonize any and every verbiage that we say. But being smart, teleported. Yeah, I think that's the one. Um, but I'm bringing up information, or I'm bringing up some of the topic that we talked about yesterday, just to kind of pick it back up in regards to these gangsters who go online now and profess who they are and telling themselves essentially, because now investigators ain't gotta go through hours of footage and following people and getting your DNA from here. They can literally just find out what your phone is, number, and get the MAC address, blah blah blah, freedom of information, all that good stuff, and just pretty much track you and follow you, and they just build a case on you. I think the situations with the Hoovers, they started, what did it say, 2020 or 2021?
Mm.
No, it was pretty recent, 2022. It wasn't 2020, it was like 2022, and that's pretty recent when you talk about federal RICO.
So
Because I think,
basically, they just started as soon as, everyone was allowed back outside again.
yeah,
Okay.
as soon as they kicked up the the C-19 stuff, all that, and they that the real life activity kicked up, that's when I guess they went on it. But they probably had um leads for some time, because if a lot of the girls, if a lot of the victims were transported, and a lot of them came out of the foster system. Like, I remember back in the day hearing about it, and trust me, they kind of know who's who, and they'll allow certain stuff to go on in order to catch the bigger fish. And sometimes they just allow people to do certain stuff just so that they can build up their case. So it probably started unofficially before 2022, but they targeted them and built up their case from 2022 on. And now you got a lot of them caught up. There's one that is known, that's in that Rico. He's known for being like basically a PDFer. Um, it was known
Mm.
that he was messing with the 1 3s. You know, and I don't get it. I'm like, man, that he should be stomped out. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's unacceptable, man. But yeah, when they announced that Trump is going to eliminate, and then Gavin Newsom, the whole thing with loitering, because the girls, they can walk up and down, Figueroa, and it used to be they would get ticketed and they would get cited. Gavin Newsom made it like okay. He decriminalized the whole loitering situation, and
Mm.
now they pretty much just go after the guys who are stopping multiple times or whatever. Um, but that whole little area is just messed up as far as what's going on, because you got the state saying, well, the girls can do walk up and down or whatever, and then you got Trump and the law enforcement coming in to really put the smash down on it. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot of confusion.
Well, is it a lot of confusion or is it just organized confusion?
I think it is organized because here's ultimately where they're gonna go. I think this will be like Amsterdam. They're gonna just legalize it.
Hmm.
But what would that put girls like Nova? Like it's you get what I'm saying? That's why it's like it's a slippery slope. It's tricky. Um,
See,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
problem that I'm having with the whole Nova situation. And thank you for posting up that warning, cat. Thank you. Um, no, like seriously, it's how do you avoid that? And then when you look at the culture of everything that's happening around it, because the truth is, this girl, she doesn't even have to be operating up and down the street. She's already very, susceptible to how to make it work on social media.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's why I'm like, I find it interesting because it seems like you have Wack 100, in this lawsuit, you have the raid that happened in the Hoovers, you have the raid that happened on Figueroa. You have all of these middle management people being cleaned up, but yet nobody's really attaching, any of this to the big bosses.
yeah, yeah,
And all of the real victims are being ignored.
yeah, yeah. That's where I wanted to take it too. They're really not focusing on the G rumors, the real, but the real bosses, the ones who really procure, um, and yeah, it's
No, because the truth is a lot of this could be stopped with anti G rooming legislation.
yeah,
Like the woman that we met at the America's Future conference, who's been working on, the G rooming legislation and trying to get it passed in all of the states.
hmm,
So this way, groom, bride and groomers, get to get their own registry. And honestly, I think that would be brilliant. If there
yeah,
was a G rooming registry, because then it would force these people to be monitored in everything that they're doing. Because just because there's some people that's what they specialize in. They
yeah,
specialize in preparing these people to accept being abused, because
hmm,
that's what G rooming is. It's preparing an individual to be susceptible to being, SA'd. That's really what it all comes down to. The lawsuit that we're reading, that we're about to get back into regarding the Funny or Die video that was left online for
hmm,
6 years before it was ever, properly addressed. If you acknowledge that they were being prepared for what they went into, because that's what they were being prepared, so you could say that. I mean, but the thing is the digital G rooming, the digital bride and groom behavior. There's a
hmm,
lot of people that are, this is happening online. It's not happening physically in public, it's happening online. Their minds are being, and they're being convinced that this is normal, or more importantly than that, nobody cares and nobody's going to do anything if you report it. This is just common. This is life. This is how it's going
yeah,
on. And it's funny because it's life for these people until some politician or some law enforcement person wants to make a name for themselves, and then they want to go off and arrest everyone, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
it's a crime.
Mhm.
So just like what you were saying, like you have a lot of these kids who are watching people do these things online, watching people say these things online, you know what I mean? And then they want to go out and they want to emulate it. And then they're the ones doing the time while the people that they were watching online, encouraging this behavior, are still out there operating in this fashion with, you know, no recourse, with no reprimand.
Yeah. I think what needs to happen from a grassroots level, kind of like what the young guys that were doing on what's that one gaming app that the kids use?
Roblox.
Yeah, going after them. They got hunters, the PDF hunters. We need a lot more grassroots of that. Like if there was a lot of more grassroots hunter situations, I think just a lot of stuff will be handled up because so imagine instead of with ICE has been hiring people and giving them $50,000 bonuses, right? But the army, they'll offer you like eight, 9 racks. That's nothing for a bonus. But 50K, um, people look at yeah, I could take 50K right now, just like these desperate YouTubers. They'll take a couple $100 because they'll take that. Now imagine if we had a task force of you just get we got a grassroots movements around the country, and you get to just put hands on these PDFers, and they give you 10K. They're gonna give you a 10K setup bonus, starting bonus. Oh man, that'd be awesome. Because then you'll have a lot of real stand up dudes who will actually do it, but then you'll also have some people who are low key PDFers who will probably try to get in and try to um what's the word? Get in and try to infiltrate before they get caught up. But yeah, I definitely like some brothers out there ain't got no jobs. Oh yeah, you could be part of this little grassroots PDF hunter gang. And I think that's the answer right there. That to me that's the answer.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and all of that sounds great, except for one thing. Nobody in government is really being honest about the fact that a lot of these people that we're talking about are guilty of these crimes.
Yeah, 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 yep.
Like, it's just nobody's being honest about that. You know, it's so interesting because everything that's going on with huh, with the current with America's current obsession in news. As we're sitting here talking right now, there's probably about 1,000 content creators that are talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and his alleged um, you know assassinator.
Hmm.
Uh, Actually, there's a content creator that's currently at the jail where he's being held. Like when I look at this culture, like all of this, you know, YouTubers constantly being at courthouses, hunting down cases, hunting down people. Where is this level of interest where we need it? Why are none of these people at the court hearings for any of these, SA cases or these teleporting cases? Or it's funny. It's just no one seems to be interested in stalking down the stuff that we really, really, really need stalk. Like if you're going to be a stalker for justice.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Not a stalker for
Hmm.
just clicks and views, but a stalker for justice. Who else is talking about this Hoover RICO? Who's talking about the Figueroa RICO? Like, why is no, like, very few people discuss this case at all?
Yeah, and it's done on purpose. And but like I said, the distraction is real. They want people focused on other things. I found this funny. Um, that's Charlie Kirk singing with Candace Owens, um, "Ignition" of R. Kelly. I sent it to you. I found that very
Oh,
interesting. Yeah, I found that interesting. See, what I'm saying is like the
they were
distractions.
R. Kelly fans?
Well, I don't know if they were fans, but I'm not going to play the music because I'm not going to play R. Kelly. But I'm saying that because I'm gonna tie in something else because I don't want to be all over the place. But I'm tying in something that Wack said. But yeah, I don't know if they were fans, but they were playing R. Kelly, and I was just like, and they were, they're singing to it, whatever. So apparently, everybody know Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens were friends. But I'm just saying the distractions upon distractions. Like I want to say some stuff, but I'm not gonna say it because I think people are gonna figure it out after a while. It's sick. It's sickening if what I'm researching, if it's really what it is. This is sickening, and I think everybody's gonna revolt eventually, and when stuff hit the fan, it's gonna be crazy. But I say that to say because I can't listen to R. Kelly no more like that ever since his involvement with but um let me just wrap it up this way. Wack 100, he basically said that Diddy's career will survive after this verdict that's coming down or whatever.
Really?
And that's what he said. He said that about earlier in the summer. Um and that's part of the reason why I'm even bringing him up now and bringing up this situation because I don't know. I don't know if his career will that bad boy legacy is tarnished. It's a wrap for bad boy if you really ask me. What do you think?
Well, this is what I think. I think it's been a wrap. I think it was a wrap before any of this happened. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just be honest. Nobody was talking about Bad Boy as a label. Nobody was worried about signing the Bad Boy. Everyone knew how terribly all of the Bad Boy artists got treated, and how everything went down. Like, even when he was trying to start rebuilding his image, like, I think he knew all of this was coming. I think he knew. I just don't think he thought any of this was going to hit as heavy as it hit. I think he
Mm-hmm.
thought that they were going to investigate. The investigation was going to be swept under the rug. He was going to be able to do some philanthropic stuff, make himself look like a good guy for a little bit, and then boom, everything was going to be okay. Kind of like what the industry is doing right now. Like, all of the award ceremonies and the red carpet culture, everyone is sitting around trying to pretend. Like, if y'all noticed, all of the entertainers, everything that we saw, even the Grammys, even the BET Awards, everything that was happening before the trial, well, the federal trial anyway, leading up to its conclusion, entertainers looked absolutely miserable. They looked like their lives were over. They were sitting there complaining about it's not fun anymore. They were sitting Bow Wow crying about there's no after parties. I'm saying they were like losing their minds. And now, all of a sudden, now that the trial is over and now that the RICO was beaten, and the S teleporting was beaten, all of a sudden everyone's happy and it's yay, yay. It was just him. He was the
Mm-hmm.
bad guy and he did all of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff and we didn't have anything to do with it. It's really
Mm-hmm.
weird. It's really weird. It's very weird because people really want to act like they want to believe like none of this stuff really happened, like none of these stories are true. Meanwhile, yeah, I don't know. The simple fact that Wack 100 will say something like that, it's kind of like, people that I used to know. people that I used to think were okay running around now all of a sudden saying free Diddy. Like it's
Mhm.
really weird.
Mhm.
There's a
Mhm.
lot of people
Mhm.
that seem to just be, I don't know. I'm starting to think that all of these things were set under duress because there's no going back for him. There's no going back for him. Nobody wanted to be seen with him for real, like that before he was arrested. He was already being shunned at the Grammys before he was arrested. Like, are people forgetting? 2023, Cassie filed her lawsuit. It went public. It was settled in 24 hours. The Grammys came up that following February. It was the first
And
year he
people
was
people were ducking
asked,
him.
people was asked not, he was asked not to attend.
And
And
yeah, he
guess
didn't.
what?
Yeah.
The Grammy brunch, the Grammy Rock Nation brunch was canceled so that they
Mhm.
didn't have to worry about not inviting him. Like they were already stepping to the side on his,
Yeah,
they
they
were
were ducking him.
already to the left with him.
Yeah.
So that just lets us know that there was a preparation. And th- after everything that they've heard now, after everything that they've seen now, and even with them, and I just want to say, shout out to everybody who was Diddy crazy all summer long during the trial, who was Diddy crazy, was making Diddy content round the clock. And guess what? There's another Diddy trial that's happening right now.
And ain't
Right
nobody talking
now.
about it.
And
Ain't
not a
nobody talking about it.
one of them,
Ain't nobody talking about it. Yeah. Yeah.
not a one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
How crazy is that?
No, it's what's expected. The spectacle for the summer was that. Now we got this situation. That's why I brought up Kirk and Owens because I can see here on Twitter, and like I said, I'm doing my research on my own, and I said I'm not gonna say nothing, but it looks like Candace is finna drop it because she says, FBI. Well, someone tweeted the FBI is digging for co-conspirators in the Kirk assassination. The FBI has not ruled out any others that may have helped help radicalize or aid the alleged unaliver. And the agents are combing through chat logs, dark web activity, and the suspect's affiliation. So the FBI says we are focused on the radicalization element. Truth will not be hidden or buried or classified. Public will know. Another FBI source confirmed Benny's reporting is accurate. No stone left unturned. So this is a commentator from Fox News. He made that post. Candace Owens commented and said, we know they are lying. If they prefer to try another BS narrative before my show on Monday, we'll be happy to shred that one too. So the narrative, you already know the focus is not even like ain't nobody worried about no Diddy. They're gonna be focused on this Kirk situation, what Candace has to say, what Nick Fuentes has to say,
You
what
want to know what's really
I'm
interesting?
what Amro, aka Funk or Fit, whatever his name is, him running and hiding. They're gonna be focused on talking about that. They ain't gonna be talking about anything that has to do with Diddy
Isn't it
until the
funny though that all
until
of this is
until
happening
next week.
right before the sentencing?
Yeah,
Right before
they're
the
gear,
sentencing.
they're gearing up for another cycle of this thing will live in a news cycle for a minute, but I think
You want to know
it's
what's
gonna die
wild?
out right when Diddy's sentencing, or like a week before Diddy's sentencing.
You want
It's
to know what's
predictable.
really You want to know what's really wild though? That nobody's talking about the fact that right before Charlie Kirk was taken up out of here, he was demanding
Hmm.
that the Epstein list
Hmm.
be released. Like
Hmm.
he was literally going heavy at the
They're
White
gonna
House
they're gonna talk
demanding
about everything but that.
everything. He was sitting there. And meanwhile, now Marjorie Taylor Greene is sitting here standing up for the Epstein victims, calling out the White House, saying, hey, this isn't cool, whoopty whoopty woo, yada, yada, yada. And now she's a traitor. So if she was a traitor, for standing up for the victims. What was Charlie Kirk for demanding that the names be released? And people were saying that he was taking, people from the White House allegedly were saying that he was taking a radical stance on the names being released. And I'm just sitting here looking like, this is weird. This is getting weird. It's getting kind of weird. Like it's getting really, really, really weird. And it's funny because if you remember, everyone was sitting there talking crazy about me. Well, not everyone, but there were some people that were coming
A
to the
lot of
channel
people.
getting crazy
Yeah.
because I said something funny is going on. I started pointing it out. Nick Fuentes going after everybody that was attached to Turning Point. Us finding out about, what the actual real connection was and the conspiracy plots allegedly that were happening. I kept saying, I don't know what this is all about, but something is going on. It's so funny. People are always so quick to try to call me a conspiracy theorist. They're always so quick to say that I'm making a big deal about nothing, or I'm not credible, or I'm not this, or whoop-de whoop-de woo, and all of that going on. And yet, what was it, about two weeks before Charlie Kirk was taken out? It was a week before he
About a
was
week and a
taken out
half. Yeah.
that I said they got something else going on. They are trying to force people into a hate cycle. They are trying to create division. They want people to go after each other. I said it. I said it. I said it. I said it. I said something is coming and we stand down. This is none of our business. Stay away from this. They are trying to do. Did I not?
Yeah, you did.
And then boom. And then boom. The day before 9/11, no one's talking about the horror. No one's talking about the trauma because, see, the best way to get a government cover up to work, I said it. This is not our fight. I said it. And now look at everything. Yup, Japanese inspection. Now look at everything. Look at what's popping out. Look at what's happening. Look at what's going on. Everyone is traumatized. Everyone is stuck on all of these horrible images. Everyone is stuck on all of this terrible stuff. And now, what are we looking at now?
Yeah.
They got us on a hamster wheel. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. I basically just said that to say that mm, they are going to move this whole emotionality of the people, especially the American people, onto this. And it's all tied in with what because you were talking about the fall equinox programming
Mm-hmm.
that they do. Same thing, like, because you talked about 9/11
Mm-hmm.
and the day that he ended up getting shot, you were talking about that. And it's
Actually, I
all a
talked
program.
about it on 9/11, and I said I find it very interesting that his assassination happened the day before, and that same terror that the country was experiencing, that I remember experiencing on 9/11, 24 years ago. Same feeling. Same feeling. It's just that trauma.
Yeah.
The trauma, the 72-hour reset so that they can get people in line and get people on board. Meanwhile, no one's paying attention to this, no one's paying attention to that. It's just very interesting.
They're so sensitive now. You can't even make a joke about Charlie Kirk. Not that it's a joking matter, but like they're really sensitive about talking about him in a negative light. I saw some memes and I was just like, I'm not going to show them. I'm not going to repeat them. But I was just like, and these are not black people. I'm telling y'all, these are not black people with the memes. It's
You want to know what's
crazy.
crazy? There's a lot of people. Reason why? Because there are certain people that are looking for people to
Looking
talk
for it.
about this
Exactly.
so that they can use
Exactly.
this as an excuse to run up on you or to
Yep.
put a case on you or to
Yep.
create some kind of like this his whole his name right now is a gaslighting mission.
Yep.
Like, let's just be clear about that. And that's why you guys are not going to be hearing me talk about a lot of stuff. I'm not worried about the jokes because you know what? In my opinion, none of it's funny. None of it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And not
It's
because
it's
uh, and not because I'm afraid, not because I'm afraid, because I know what they're using it for.
yeah.
See, that's the
Yeah. They
part that's really freaking me out. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, I don't see everything that's happening. Like, the simple fact that you got content creators that are praising Charleston White for clout chasing this man's death is insane. It's insane to me. Oh man, yeah, he's going viral. He just got 6 million views off of what he just said, and he's not even a real black radicalist. Da, da, da. Like people are amazed at the level of clout chase. But even Charlie Kirk's name ain't nothing but a gaslight mission.
yeah.
And if
Yep.
they're gonna use his name as a gaslight mission, the only time they do that is when they're covering up something else. And that's what's wild. Everyone's gonna argue. They're gonna go back and forth. I can't believe he's joking. Well, why not? It's my right as an American to joke about this, and I don't have to do this. Like everyone's arguing about everything except for what's really going on. And I feel the same way about all of these so-called lawsuits now that are being levied out. Because for real, lawsuits is the new gaslighting effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? I know you want to get
No.
ready to wrap up soon, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll wrap in a few minutes. Because I'm gonna get ready, y'all. Again, we're going over to Auntie Leah's because we got this dope interview. Well, not interview, but the just a project that she's been working on for a minute about Nipsey Hussle. So we're gonna be over there about an hour or so. But yeah, these lawsuits, I guess anybody can just put put out a lawsuit on anything or anybody, and it'll get traction, and people start talking about it, etc. The and just to, even with this situation, I just brought up this is because he's likely Wack 100 is likely not going to win anything in relation to what he's talking about within his lawsuit because he kind of put it out there himself. Um,
Star has been sued or been threatened to be sued 80 million times and nothing ever happens when it comes to them. And they said what they were supposed to say, alleged. They
yeah,
didn't say it was a definite. They didn't say that they have they said it was alleged.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like it's insane. Like the people that are trying to come to me in lawsuits. For what?
yeah. It's a little ridiculous.
No,
Yeah,
it's
man.
starting to feel like they're only doing this so content creators have something to talk about.
Yeah, that that part as well. That part too. But we'll get down to the bottom of it because and to me it seems all orchestrated with what I'm talking about with your situation. Um, Maybe we'll talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it just yet because I think some short midget content creator talked about it, but I don't think they were all in the toilet and didn't know shit. Just like what I said yesterday about certain content creators talking about the situation. They be all in the toilet, don't be knowing shit. Um,
You want to know what I find funny? Content creators who are not more suspicious of how this algorithm and how this platform actually works.
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna put it to you this way. If you're going to do an expose on someone, like when we get into some shit, we research everything. We just don't look at something on face value or something that someone handed to us and pass it off. Cause that's really not that you can't call yourself a researcher. You can't call yourself an investigator when all
Hmm.
you're doing is running with information that was handed to you from someone else. You need to have a little bit, more information. And even us, sometimes we have to come back and we have to clarify things because you got people out here AI and stuff. You got people out here editing. You got people out here moving stuff around. Like it's, there's a lot that comes along with it. But, huh, apparently, here on YouTube, as long as you post it up, it's true.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna take a look at some stuff, but for the most part, um, you know, we pay him no mind, we pay him no attention. But y'all keep y'all eyes and ears open for, all I say is right now everything is distraction. You know, focus on yourself, focus on your family. You know what I mean? But overall, if you are ingesting a lot of this content, and that's what I wanted to say too, because Wack 100 always talking about the content. Like, I hate I hate that term now. The content. Like, number one, so a lot of times these YouTubers, let's go back to that. These YouTubers do not produce or create anything, nor do they create content. They take people's stuff, like they've taken all of your stuff, Jag, and they remix it and flip it and do what they do and monetize on it. Like you said, people have made millions, almost damn near $1 billion off of your name, and they want to call content this the content. So I hate that term content. I hate it. It ain't content. It's some bullshit ass videos y'all putting up. That's it. It's dumbass podcast with the dumbass topics y'all talk about. That's it.
Yeah, but the thing is it's just, you know, for what? To what purpose? When we get online, the one thing that I will say, yeah, I used to call it CUNT. Con,
Oh,
you
here we
know,
go.
I used to call it CUNT.
That
Hmm.
that that's appropriate for that sector that talks about you too. Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, can I just throw a little, just a quick little shot?
Go ahead.
You know, I'm not even sure if I'm going to address it on the channel, and maybe I will. But when it gets to the point where a dying sector that was created to destroy someone's life and someone's character goes out of their way to listen to every name that comes out of their mouth so that they can go and then stalk people down to try to turn them against someone, just hoping for a reaction so that they can have something to talk about. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. That's how bad it's gotten. It's gotten that bad that people are literally listening for any and everything that I say out of my mouth. And the thing that trips me out is, are they sure that I didn't say that on purpose? Are they sure that I didn't do that just for that purpose? I'm really sick and tired of people thinking that I'm just here, some talking head, running my mouth, just saying things with no purpose. I when I think about what was going on last fall into last winter. The way certain content creators were cozying up to me, trying to pretend to be unbiased, trying to pretend to be interested in getting to the truth, trying to pretend to support what I'm doing. Meanwhile, the entire time coordinating with my ops to create situations for me to be gang stalked, for me to be. How many different content creators tried that with us last, before
A
the
lot,
Diddy trial happened?
a lot. Was that song by
People
21 Savage? How many haters you got? A lot. How many? Yeah, it's a
a
lot.
lot. Like, how many times did people invite me to their channel? And in the second that I get there, I'm being gang stalked and dogpiled in the chat. People allowing people to come up on panels. A credible content creator is be using those videos as research. Like, that's wild. Like, that's super, 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 super duper wild to me. That's
And I
nuts.
and I'll say this just on some man shit. If obviously, you're dealing with a raccoon. I'll call him that, right? And little boy, because if you know a person shouted you out, you didn't know him, a content creator and YouTuber, and you didn't know him, and you acknowledged that they shouted you out. And if someone did get in your ear and say, "Oh, look at this," because I already know what happened. They do the whole, "You need to see this. You need to see this. You need to see this," and then you run without even saying, "Hey, let me get an opportunity to talk to the sister." Yada yada yada. That's why I was like, shout out to a few people that have said some things about me and you, and then I just reach out to them on some G shit, and it ain't no punk, it ain't no punking nothing. It's just hear me out type of, and they, oh yeah, well, I got you. They get it, they understand it. It ain't no none of that other craziness that people do.
You want to know
Um,
what's funny though?
they why no, but the question is, I'm just like, why wouldn't a real man would just be like, you know what, or even a researcher, a person of God, you're gonna go and listen to the other person's side, or you're gonna be open to say, hey, let me
Well,
let me check
see,
it out, let me check this out. I'm
this
doing a
is the
video
thing
about
that's
whoop whoop
funny.
whoop.
People like talking about the Bible and people like talking about being Christians, but the Bible speaks fervently and ad nauseum about the harm and the danger of gossip.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're gossiping with gossipers, you ain't even bother to ask where these people came from. You ain't even bother to ask. And it's funny because you're sitting there taking advice from an actual witch's coven that operates here on YouTube. Like, your chat is filled with witches, literally. One of their main people that's caught up in that stuff is that witch, I'm just, who sits here and who isn't it. Like, it's wild. It's wild. It's wild. I'm like, wow, you're sitting here taking advice from witches. That's wild. But
yeah,
hey,
man.
go
You
off.
know, yeah, go off, and I'm about to go off, and I'll leave y'all with this, and I'm gonna start leaving with some. I'll start leaving the chat with some dusty Bible quotes.
Uh
Um, Genesis 3:19, for the dust you are, and to the dust you shall return.
oh.
That's what's up. All
Mm, mm,
right.
mm, mm.
We'll be over at Auntie Leah's in about an hour. Y'all check it out. I'll be there. And it's a good conversation. We about to really get it in. All right, y'all.
Oh, well, have fun, Sid.
Oh, yeah. Have fun.